Where's my co-host? Where is my co-host? Has anybody seen David? Anybody? Here's empty. Can you pull up David's camera here?
It's right there. They can
David!
See it. It's right there.
David, where are you? APB. All right. What's up, Crypto fam? We gave David the day off today. He's got a couple things he had to take care of. So you're stuck with just me today. So I got nobody to push back on my amazing thoughts, my intuition. Nobody to say I'm wrong or to say that I don't know what I'm talking about, except for the chat. So if you think I'm wrong and you don't know what I'm talking about, go ahead and throw that in the chat. Anyways, if it's your first time checking us out, none of this is to be taken as financial advice. Go ahead and knock that out. And what else did David say? And then we got an expensive studio. Off to my other co-host, Big Rob.
No financial advice.
No financial advice.
That's right. Yeah.
There we go. Beautiful. Do your own research. So this is an entertainment-focused cryptocurrency channel where we take the old, the boring, the stale information and we package it up in a fun and sexy way. My name is Big Rob, your only host today. And if you like the video, make sure you drop a thumbs up, like button. It helps us out a lot. Also, if you're new here, do us a favor, subscribe. Even if you don't like us later on, you can unsubscribe. And then notification bell, because we don't just do live streams. We also do YouTube shorts, shorter videos, longer videos, deep dives. So no, you don't want to miss any of our content. Now, getting into the chat here. First in the chat, we had Tox, Marky Mark, Strictly Sports. We got Jason up in here, Handy, Why You Loud, gang. Then we got Nordy. Who else we got? R.A. Daniel, Sir Babe, Brokey Yoshi, and Fino, George. Who else is in here? All right, I think that wraps it up. And Bullish Kenny G. I almost forgot about you. How you doing? So if you're new in the chat, make sure you say hello so we can give you a hola. And
congratulations on the around the blockchain from William Eder.
Well, thank you. For those of you, I saw you guys in the chat, or some of you in the chat there at around the blockchain. We really enjoy going on there. If you're watching, thank you so much for hosting us. We have a lot of fun there. Not to mention we get to network and meet up with other people there. So it's a great way for us to engage with the other members or content creators here in YouTube in the crypto world. And then we also got Cito. What's up, bro? Welcome back. Yeah, so always a lot of fun. But I do want to add that your boy just keeps straight winning. I got a gift, man. I got a gift to ramble. And you know what? On that show, Ben, he could talk a lot.
Yeah.
He's got a lot to say, man. He's a smart man. So, but you know who else got a lot to say? Your boy. Well, you can't turn this motor off, man. When this thing starts running, just keeps going. That's right. And then, but anyways, so hopefully we get some new people there from the show. Usually after one of those shows, we get some people merge over, kind of like the Ethereum network. So a lot of big news today. Binance, CZ was out full effect, giving his opinion and talking perhaps some Wall Street news as well with Binance. So we'll get into that in a moment. And also Bitcoin under 20K. What does that mean? Is Bitcoin dying? Is Bitcoin dead? Absolutely not. Is it at a discount? Hell yeah. I'm buying some. Sure am. So really excited. I've been waiting for this pullback. I think the bottom is near. I know David thinks otherwise, but I think we're gonna be hitting the bottom here. I know everybody says, "Oh, the bottom's in or it's close." I agree. However, the lowest discount you're gonna get is in the near future, and that's my opinion. Now, I do think we're gonna be a prolonged bear market. Will we maybe touch the bottom 6 months from now, a year from now, who knows? But I have a strong suspicion this is going to be the bottom here in the next 2 months. And so if you're looking for a good entry point, definitely that's what I'm doing. And regardless, even if it goes lower, let's just say Bitcoin drops down to 15, 16,000 and that's it. And it bounces and it never goes down there again. Even at 19,000, it's still a great buy. At 15,000, it's a great buy. If you buy 15,000, and when I say 15,000, I'm not just talking about Bitcoin, because when Bitcoin gets to 15,000, everything's on discount. And so when it gets to that price, whatever the hell you're picking up, whatever assets you're picking up, is going to be massively discounted compared to where it will be in the future. And so if you're buying at 15K Bitcoin, and it ends up dropping down to 9,000, it's not like you got ripped off, right? And so you're in a good spot. And so I'm excited because I know that we're going to get 10X's pretty much out of everything. I mean, if you get a $10,000 Bitcoin, you could pretty much get the safest bet on a 10X within the next 5 years, right? I mean, think about it. Does anybody here put a one in the chat? Put a one in the chat if you think Bitcoin will hit $100,000 within the next 5 years. Put a 2 in the chat if you don't think that's going to happen. So 1 in the chat if you think within 5 years Bitcoin can hit 100K. Now remember, Bitcoin was at 60,000. We're not even talking a 2X from all-time highs. And so if you get an opportunity to pick up the most secure asset at $10,000, you can get a 10X within 5 years. $1,000 can turn into 10. $10,000 can turn into 100 grand. So, I mean, just think of it that way. I mean, you have the opportunity of a lifetime here in front of you. And you know what? If it doesn't hit 10,000, it hits 12, pretty damn good too. So, I do want to say though, today also, so we're talking Binance. We're talking Bitcoin's price. You know what else is? Rocco, you know what else today is?
No, what it is?
Yesterday was 7-Eleven day, right?
So
today.
Slurpee all day.
Yeah, that's probably what happened.
I know what happened today. He say we'll go there.
So David had a dentist appointment, and he didn't come out. And my suspicion is he left here and probably had like 5 Slurpees, 6, 10 Slurpees.
Yes,
just blew his teeth out, bro.
With a slurp.
With a slurp.
Not even a ball.
Not a brain freeze. He just froze. He froze all the caps off. Now, and also we got Angel here, new in the chat. Hola! Also, Mr. Destro. Hola! Welcome. No, our co-hosts here, if you're new here, Angel and Destro. I know I butchered your name. Normally we would have my co-host here saying, hey, you do nothing but butcher people's names. But he, if he was here, he would be making fun of me. We miss you, David. But I don't think he's at a dentist. You know what I think he is?
No.
Today.
7-Eleven again.
No. Today's Amazon Prime Day.
Oh. Okay.
Today is Amazon Prime Day. My co-host is out shopping right now. He is at home. He couldn't even get out of bed. He's just in his jammies, just ordering all kinds of laptops and unnecessary robot vacuums. Perhaps a new Alexa like
Alexa vacuum,
Bluetooth speaker. I'm telling you, man, Black Friday is a good day for televisions, robot vacuums, and like those digital picture frames.
Oh, okay.
Very popular.
Those are cool.
Fridays,
I like it. I like that one. Yeah.
You can put your NFTs on there.
Yeah. I
All right.
Some people doing that. Yeah.
And then lastly, we also are going to talk Brazil. Some huge news coming out of Brazil with their payments and new exchange. So really excited about that. Question, Rocco, you buying anything on Amazon Prime today? Do you even have an Amazon Prime membership?
I do, but I don't use it that much. Really?
No.
Not really. No.
I feel like the only person in America that's not buying on Amazon.
I don't know. Yeah. No.
Huh.
No. Not lately, really.
Okay. Well, without further ado, let's get into the charts. So we're going to take a look. As we mentioned, Bitcoin under 20K. Now, this 20 $8,000 mark is going to be acting as resistance here. And so we dipped all the way down to 19.6. So it looks like 19.5 is the local support zone right now. I really, if you're worried about the price of Bitcoin going lower, I'm pretty scared because the the inflation numbers come out tomorrow. So CPI will be out tomorrow. Wall Street is preparing. They've dug a bunker, a ditch, and they're all waiting to see what's going to happen. But this is going to line up perfectly what we've been echoing, is that when the price was at this 40 case support here, with the lack of volume, so the volume here is at $50 billion. So compared to 150 billion to 200 billion during the height of the bull run, we're about 25% from where our typical volume was when everyone was buying. And so without the volume, it's hard to break out of these big support and resistance zones or these channels. There's just not enough buyers and honestly not enough sellers until until there's a trigger point and something big happens. And so what has happened in these big, if you're looking at the chart, you can see that you had a big shift to the downside and these 2 points here. And here, both of these coincide with the federal interest rate hikes. And so if you're at all new to investing, I'm talking about just in the general sense of it, in the Wall Street here in the U.S., you'll know that interest rates are basically the borrowing power for our companies here in America. And as you have a lower interest rate and you're incentivized to borrow money, it creates growth in your corporate or your business model. And so as these companies grow, the economy grows. And as the economy grows, everybody makes money. And the investors that are in Wall Street, they also have diversified portfolios and they're invested in crypto as well. So a lot of outside of the typical hodler, that Bitcoin maxi, or just, a passionate crypto investor, a lot of this excess money is coming in the form of Wall Street portfolios. And so if you're down in Wall Street, probably down in crypto as well. And so anyways, what do these two correlations here have been? It has been the Fed interest rate hike. And so, the one thing that kicks off the interest rate hike is the inflation numbers. So when the inflation numbers come out and they're not good, what ends up happening is everyone's like, well, here we go. Here comes another interest rate hike. And because of that mentality, as soon as we get the interest rate hike, or as soon as we get the inflation numbers, if they're unfavorable, everybody that's in Wall Street already knows what time it is. They're like, oh, here it comes. Another 75 basis points, so a 0.75% interest rate hike in the federal government is going to destroy the home market and pretty much all markets. And so we see a dump in crypto. And my super long story here that I'm getting to is that this chart is lining up just like this last channel. We went from 40 to 30, and then here 30, the inflation numbers came out, and we dumped all the way down to 20. And the same timeline is transpired, and come tomorrow, we're going to get 8.8, maybe a 9% inflation rate. Everybody's going to panic. They're going to burn down the businesses. People are just going to take dollar bills out of their wallet and start burning it. You might as well. And so, yeah.
It looks like a step to L.
What do you
step down?
Yeah.
Step down, one more step.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's
scary.
So, Rocco, do you think the inflation numbers are going to be high tomorrow?
Absolutely, yes.
So, last inflation numbers was 8.6. And they're forecasting 8.8.
Yeah.
Or they think it's going to come in at 8.8. And so, at 8.8, that's not good. And if we come in with a 9, woo!
They were saying about a half point. So that's it's going to be about 9, 0.4.
So we'll see. If it comes in at 9, dear Lord, you're going to see a $12,000 Bitcoin. because NASDAQ, the regular markets, all gonna just straight tank.
Everybody they're gonna sell.
Anyways, so big day tomorrow. So stay tuned. David, get your ass in here tomorrow because it's gonna be a juicy one. Now Ethereum at this right at the $1,000 mark. I have been piling into Ethereum as of lately. I think right now it's the best buy because Ethereum has the next major upgrade coming up. So really excited about that. I could see it outperforming Bitcoin within the next 4 months. And, if we do, because I do think that we're going to get a bounce when it comes to the traditional markets. Traditionally, what happens at Christmas time? Everybody spends money. People are out shopping. You got the midterm elections. So, a lot of these congressional seats that are up for the taking, they are... these politicians aren't going to want to see the economy decline. So I think we're going to get a little relief rally. And I think we're going to get a little bounce. And we're going to probably get a bounce in crypto as well. And right at that same timing, you're going to have the Ethereum merge and it shifting from proof of stake or proof of work to proof of stake. And so I'm very excited with the price potential there. And if I can pick up Ethereum at $600 to $700, my dude, I mean, think about this. $600 to $700. You pick up Ethereum, and then come October, everything's pumping. Relief rally. Bitcoin's probably at like 30,000. I mean, we're looking at $2,300 Ethereum. Yeah, I mean, that's a 3 to 4x right there, bro. 3 to 4x in like 3 to 4 months. That's some pretty damn good returns, man. And so that is my strategy there. If you are vibing with the Ethereum strategy, put a 1 in the chat. All right. And then, honestly, at this moment, everything seems to be kind of in. Let's refresh this real quick. Everything seems to be kind of following. So Quant's in the green, Loop Ring's in the green, but as far as things that are down, Tezos had a big run up yesterday, so they're in the red. But right now, I've taken a look at the crypto fear and greed index at 16. So I think people are anticipating this pullback, and so we were over the 20s the last couple of days, and now we've pulled all the way back down to 16. This is going to update in 6 hours, so. A little worried to see what it's going to come in at after you take into account that it's under a $20,000 Bitcoin. The crypto bubbles now, crypto in its entirety is all in the red, with the exception of a couple projects here with Quant and Loop Ring. Big fan of Loop Ring here. If you haven't, and then we also have Neutron Star. Welcome. Now, so the stocks. Straight flat. Same thing happened yesterday. Not much going on. And so with the stock market, everybody's on pins and needles. Everybody's waiting. I won't go into any further detail. I think you all already know what time it is. Now, let's get into it. Let's get into the hot take.
Hot take.
It's hot.
All right. So my hot take is this. We're gonna talk some Binance today. As you saw on our thumbnail, Binance rose to power in the last bull market, and so yeah, they've been around for some time. I don't know exactly when they launched, but they were one of the smaller exchanges back in the day, and they really came to the fray in 2017. And they really became even more of a dominant player in 2018 and doing what FTX is doing now. And they basically were buying up other companies as they went under. As the bear market just steamrolled and just killed one project after another, Binance stepped in with a wad of cash and just started scooping them up in the Amazon Prime fashion, where you just scoop up all the little guys. But now, here's an idea. So CZ, the CEO of Binance, here, pull up my laptop real quick. So he goes out and he says, CZ says, Binance CEO predicts DEXs will overtake sexes. And get your mind out the gutter there, brother. Within the next 10 years. And so just to preface this article here, the Binance chief operating officer, CZ, predicted that DeFi and DeFi exchanges would be far superior to their centralized competitors within the next decade. And then here, another quote from him as well. He says, I think in 5 to 10 years, decentralized exchanges will be bigger than centralized exchanges. I would say within a maximum of 10 years. And then he goes on to say that he still believes centralized exchanges will play a big role for many decades to come. And he also highlights that certain age demographics might be a little bit more hesitant to get on board with this, key phrase, seed phrase, and your own wallet, because we understand that if you're using a DEX, you don't have the same onboarding where you're just doing cash, and so you need to be a little bit more tech savvy. Got to have your own private wallet, either in a browser or in USB form, and then you need to connect it and carry your own keys. And I just don't think a lot of people are there or even interested in getting in there. So, anyways, he also highlighted his parents' generation as a group that would be particularly resistant to the idea of using an encrypted USB stick for their private login. So, our hot take today is, will DEXs take over the centralized exchange? Is this prophecy from a man that is very grounded in the future of crypto? Does he have a point? You know what? I'm actually going to say no.
What?
Yeah.
Why not?
As much as I like DEXs.
Okay.
As much as I like DEXs. I look at DEXs in the same way that I look at eBay. And the same way I look at Craigslist. Now, you could have had the same argument back in, say 2005. You could have been like, you know what? People aren't going to shop at Walmart and Amazon anymore. They're going to buy and sell their own goods. They're going to buy from the warehouse. They're going to sell it, go past the middleman, not, power to the people, control your own finance. And realistically, people like convenience. People don't like to get off the couch. They like to buy from the same place. They like to have everything all wrapped up in one fun package. And so you see it in the general free market world here in the U.S. and around the world. You see that the grocery store that sells the tires, that you can just go there for one thing only, it tends to be the place that you end up going shopping at the most. I know there's exceptions. There's people that want to go to Whole Foods or their little farmer's market or whatever it is. I just mean the masses. And if we're talking about which one will outperform the other, a centralized exchange or a DEX, we're talking about where are the masses going to be hanging out at. And I think the masses are going to stay on centralized exchanges because they offer more services. Not only are they your custodian, you don't need the private keys in the wallet, but you know what? They've also integrated NFTs. They also have different learn characteristics where you can learn about tokens and get a little bit of education. And then you can use your wallet to store your NFTs in there. You can learn about, you can trade in an easier manner where you can, look at Coinbase for an example. In Coinbase, you can just simply pick a token and hit buy. Ain't no limit order, ain't no none of this. Do they hit you upside the head with some fees? Sure, but it's simple. At the same time, if you like more complexity and you'd like to use the order books, Coinbase also offers that. And so you have a myriad of different options. You have a suite of different aspects when it comes to a centralized exchange. They do it all. And at some point, They're also going to cover all the investments. You're going to have also stocks in there. We see the issuance of debit cards and credit cards, and you have staking. So in this world that we live in now, where you don't want to be inconvenienced by going to a bunch of different stores, and then when you go shopping, the same thing is going to be said when you're not going to want to go to 15 different websites to execute all of your crypto degen things. Now, I understand there'll be an exception, but when you take the massive population, I think that's really what they're going to do. So that's what
you
do
don't see like, for instance, like what happened to Blockbuster, and everybody, went then to Netflix because it was convenient. So the same way for a decentralized exchange that has, imagine 10 years from now, where you can go in one place again, like you have all the coin from KuCoin, instead to go to 10 different places. It's convenient. You got already all connected together. Instead to go to your bank, you don't see that happening. The same way?
I mean, I see DEXs becoming a mainstay in crypto. I see them growing far larger than they are now, and I feel like the market cap of DEXs, your Uniswap, your PancakeSwap, and I think the functionality of those are going to expand as well. In the same way that you see all these additional features being integrated into these DEXs, I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't have like an Aave, for example, offering DEX services, and at the same time offering you staking services and lending and borrowing. And so I do think that the DEXs will evolve to look more like the centralized exchanges. However, I just think that when you have somebody at the driver's seat, you have a CEO of a company that can, for one, do something that DEXs can't, and is just do a marketing blitz. And, if you have commercial after commercial and website pop-up after website pop-up, and you have the ease of use and the ease of onboarding, and you know what? If you're a publicly traded company, like Coinbase, for an example, it could be very enticing for you to go that direction. I just think that's where the masses are going to go. Now, I do think that DEXs are going to be a formidable opponent. They're going to be somebody that you need to pay respect to if you are a centralized exchange and you're looking at your competition. Also, we got Camus. Hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto. Now, I think I'm excited to see where DEXs go. I'm excited to see how this plays out, because you're not really seeing this. There's no decentralized finance in the legacy world. And so, I can't go out and just go on the internet and get a loan for my car with fiat. I can't be like, hey, I'm gonna put my 401k up as a collateral and borrow on it, and all of a sudden go get a car loan. Or if I want to go buy, there's no decentralized exchange that lets me trade dollars to euros. Which, by the way, the dollar and the euro are about to flip for the first time ever. Today, the euro dollar exchange went from 1.0005. And so, another indicator that the recession's on the way. When foreign currencies go down in relation to the dollar, it's not good, because we're the world reserve currency. So if all the other currencies are going down, while we're also going down as far as if you're taking monetary expansion, value, buying power, aka inflation. On other Binance news, so moving away from our hot take, we're going to go into our talking points. We're going to go right into another Binance article. All right. Also, if we can get to 60 people in the chat today, we're going to open up the club, man. We are going to open up the club. I want to open up the club without Davis so I can point and laugh at him. All right. So another Binance article. Binance US shooting to go public with the hire of new CFO. So Very, very big news. The U.S. branch of the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange by trading volume is hiring the former PayPal executive as its new chief financial officer. Binance.us CEO Brian Schroeder says that Lee's over 20 years of experience should help the firm eventually carve out a path to an initial public offering. Now, there's no concrete evidence that they're going to go public. However, the general consensus is that they will be going public, and the rumors are that they're going to go public. And this hire here, you have another payments infrastructure company, PayPal, one of the largest payment platforms in the world, not just here in the U.S. That, you know, this CFO is all too familiar with being a publicly traded company and all the guidelines and regulations when it comes to Wall Street. And so this is probably the next logical step if you are a company to go public. You know, in the same way that if you are a basketball team and you're going to get elevated from D League to the NBA, probably right before you get elevated, you're going to go hire an NBA coach with some experience. You're going to get out of the D leagues. You don't want to be in there no more. And so, you know, you're going to start preparing for that transition. And so in prepare for the transition, they're not going to hire somebody that is a crypto guy. You're going to hire somebody that's a Wall Street guy, somebody that knows the rules of the game, somebody that has experience when it comes to Wall Street. And so, you know, I'm seeing a race here. I'm seeing two bulls locking up. Do bulls lock up? Do bulls lock horns?
Eventually.
If they do. I know deers do. I know deers put them antlers together. Or mooses or whatever. Anyways, I'm sure the bulls do too. If they don't, these deer are going to antler up. Now, so which two bulls are we talking about? FTX and Binance. You know, Coinbase, get out of here. Crypto.com, get out of here.
Yeah.
You got two powerhouses now. You got Binance, for one, who I think earlier this week, or no, last week, they said they were gonna, they had like some crazy amount of billions of dollars. I think it was like 200 something $billion or half a trillion dollars. I don't know. They got a lot of money that they plan on buying up these struggling companies. The same thing they did back in 2017. And so the same way that the same thing that we saw in 2017, they're gearing up to do it again. And you know what? FTX is buying them now. And they ain't getting a good enough discount. And Binance has been through this ringer before. They're looking, they're like, yeah. Y'all keep throwing out all your dry powder, bro. Because you know what? This thing's going lower. And he must call Big Rob because he must have been watching the show because he knows crypto is going to go lower. And because crypto's going lower, things are going to get liquidated. Companies are going to be in a worse off spot. You're going to get bigger discounts, and they are ready to pounce. So they're going to go public. They're going to buy up a bunch of companies. You haven't had any, have you heard of any news, Rocco, of Binance buying anybody up yet? No, it's coming. Nothing. It's coming. So you better believe, you know what? The first half of 2022 was all FTX. You know, they had a pretty good Super Bowl commercial. And Binance, they didn't do no commercials. They saving all their gunpowder, bro.
Nothing.
And the second half of 2022, it's going to be Binance's time to shine. And so, if you're bullish on all of this, like I am, perhaps you should be looking at the Binance token as well. Because if this exchange pops off, more than likely, you're also going to get a big, huge surge in the BNB token. BNB has fallen all the way down to the 5th position on the CoinMarketCap list at $227. We had all-time highs at, I think it was like $800, right? No, almost $700. And so here we have another big project. So, big fan. I'm a big fan of these top projects right now. You get into the top projects now. Okay, so let's rewind. Let's think about what happened in 2017 and 2018. Right now, y'all need to be game planning what you're gonna do in this bear market. And if you would have kind of did the same blueprint that we had from last bear market, is that when Bitcoin and the major alts bottom out, once they start rebounding, then these smaller tokens start coming into play, and those end up being good buys. Remember, Cardano was at like 2 cents or 3 cents, and that was only within 6 months of the start of the bull run. And so you had 2 years to buy Bitcoin and Ethereum, and all this stuff. And then on the back half of the bear market is when you got into the alts. So right now, you need to be eyeballing. You need to be kind of finding your good price targets when it comes to these big alts and Bitcoin. And so, if I can get a BNB token at $100, $120, $140. Bro, you're talking you're talking easy 10x there, man.
Yes,
and
10x.
so, if the last cycle told you anything, the company knows what it's doing. Before any of the other exchanges did before Crypto.com did its Chronos chain, BNB was like, yo, you know what? We're going to copy this Ethereum network. That sounds like a good business plan. It was a good business plan. And they were like, okay, what's wrong with it? It's slow? Proof of work? Okay, cool. Yeah, well, you know what? We're going to create the Ethereum network. We're going to duplicate it. We're going to put our name on it. And we're going to make it proof of stake. And we're going to make it fast. And we're going to launch it right in the beginning of this bull market. While everyone else is getting hammered with gas fees. And we're the biggest exchange. And we know what we're doing. And so you're starting to see the situation where the opportunity is going to present itself again. And so I'm excited about BNB. Excited about Ethereum. You know what? I'm excited about Bitcoin too, man.
And maybe there is something new, like this last time we had the NFT explosion. Maybe there is going to be something else in 3 years, 4 years from now.
And I bet you BNB will probably be at the forefront of it.
Yeah.
I mean, when they saw the potential of DeFi smart contracts and basically having your own chain that can run, DEXs, that was the big run up for their price. Remember, BNB was, let's see here, BNB. Jesus, look at that, man.
He's a monster.
Would you have liked to buy BNB at under $1?
I remember when
look at this, 2017, man, $1. And then look, this was the bull market too. Here, let me remind you, this was the bull market. Okay, this was the bull market, and this was the bear market. Okay, so let's put this in perspective here. You went from a $1, and then the height of the bull market in 2017 was $22. Then it pulled back to $8, $6. Basically, you were here around the $8 to $10 BNB. This is where we're at now. If you were to look at the chart now, where we're at, this is where we're at right here. We're right here. We're probably on this little peak here at $10, and you're probably going to get a chance to buy it at $7. So the same way that it dropped here, and here's the thing: if you bought it here, does it really matter that later on, 6 months later, it went down to $5? Does it really matter that you could have you bought BNB at $8, and then you're like, damn it, could have bought it at $6? Because if you're asking yourself, it's $222 in the middle of a bear market. Does it really matter if you bought it at 8 or at 6 or at 4? And so BNB will be cheaper in the next 2 months. The next 2 months, you're going to have a sub $200 BNB. In the same way that we're looking at a $10 to $200, we're going to look at a $100 to $1,000 or $2,000. Binance is extremely deflationary as well. They burn a crap ton of tokens. I don't know. I don't have the numbers in front of me. Extremely deflationary. So the potential to catapult or slingshot is even more so stronger for the next bull run. The amount of tokens they're going to burn from now to the next bull run is going to be a lot. I don't have the numbers, as I said. If David was here, I'd throw it to him and I'd pull it up and then we could go back to me. But thanks, David, for ruining my my transition. But really excited about that. So anyways, I wanted to focus on Binance. I wanted to focus on them becoming a publicly traded company. I wanted to focus on the trajectory for this exchange because I feel like FTX, Coinbase has gotten all the front page news as of lately. But don't discount the world's largest exchange, the fifth largest token, the BNB token, is not somebody to discount. But what you can discount is the price next month. So I'm licking my chops, bro. Mm-hmm. You know, I had BNB in one of my wallets. I just had change in there, and then I had like, I remember I like opened up some old wallet, and this was back in 2020. I opened up a wallet and I had like it was like 8 BNB or something, you know, and it was just something I was just had for transactions and like change left over. It was like 8 BNB, and I look, and then like the wallet was like it was like $2,500 or something.
Oh, no.
I was like, oh dang. Like, nice.
Thank you, Bro Kiyoshi. Yeah, my microphone was off.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Do you know our microphones are set up to a way you can keep it on the whole time? Don't worry.
Yeah.
No need to mute Rocco. So whatever Rocco said, y'all missed. Basically said I'm very intelligent and I know what I'm talking about. Thank you, Rocco. And so moving on. To another exchange, one that doesn't exist anymore. The U.S. state regulators are investigating crypto brokerage Voyager.
Again?
Now, this is the U.S. regulators.
Oh, this is the US.
And so they were getting investigated. Well, there was like some private. First of all, there was the FDIC was investigating them for their FDIC insurance claims. And then you also had some private lawsuits that are now active. And so now we have the U.S. state regulators. So you have not exactly the FBI or the and I know the SEC is supposedly looking into it. SEC was looking into Voyager before they went under. So security regulators from 2 states are reportedly looking into the embattled crypto brokerage firm Voyager Digital for possibly failing to disclose vital information regarding its loans and credit worthiness to its clients. Regulation agencies from the states of Texas and Alabama are ramping up their efforts into investigating Voyager. And this is a quote from the Director of Enforcement at the Texas State Securities Board, Joe Rotunda. Now, he says, what we're seeing now is a lot of these crypto lending firms may not have fully disclosed what they are doing on the backside with investors, money, the risks associated with these types of lending practices, or even the other types of transactions they are engaging in. So after the fact, this comes as no surprise. I think in the same way that we had the the ICO craze of the last bull market, I do think this this bull market's gonna be the failure of lending protocols and of custodial services and exchanges and just basically over leveraging themselves to death. And which I don't understand. You know what I don't understand is the fact that nobody's disputing the volatility of crypto. I think everybody at this point understands that Bitcoin is going to go way up. It's also going to go way down. And so if you have a business model that will simply collapse with the price collapse of Bitcoin, Bitcoin goes down 90%, which has time and time and time and time again. If your business model is, well, this is going to work as long as Bitcoin doesn't go down 90%, 85% or 80%. And the fact that that's a thing still shocks me. And, you know, I want to sit here and say that, like, I adamantly believe that crypto has learned its lesson and that companies are not going to do this in the future. They did it last bull cycle. They're going to do it again. And so you need to do your research. You need to be careful because you know what? At face value, Voyager looked clean. You know what I mean? And I'm not talking about their history, their track record, their books. I'm talking about their app, the volume, their user base, them being a publicly traded Canadian company. And so at first glance, you'd be like, oh, this is solid. I had a lot of inexperienced crypto friends that used Voyager and they just liked the interface. And I never got on board with it. I'm like, I don't really care what it looks like. What's the fees like? What's transaction speed? You know, what are the depth of the order books? You know, how long have they been around? And so for me, I didn't really care about all the bells and whistles. What are the fundamentals? And that's what you need to ask yourself moving forward when it comes to a crypto company. And if you're going to trust your hard-earned money, your hard-earned investment in somebody else's hands, you need to at least do some kind of research. I'm not saying like bring out the magnifying glasses and go full crypto degen, but just look at it. I mean, like, how long have they been around? Are they older than 3 years old? You know, do they have like, you know, any kind of like shady issues?
But I think somehow it's difficult to, and I understand what you say. If it was, okay, let me research something like Bank of America. You go back many years and you can find some record. But I know it's new, but everything else is very new too. So it's not like, I don't want to kind of blame the people that got, you know, their money there because they
I don't want to, you know, and here's the thing. I saw my friends talking about Voyager. And for me, it wasn't for me, but I didn't see it as like, you know, flashing red lights at the time, you know, during the bull run. I didn't look at it like, I didn't look at my buddy and was like, what are you doing? I'm like, man, you're crazy, dude. I didn't say that. And now I did say that about meme coins. And, you know, actually they seem to have held up better than I anticipated. I thought the meme coins, I thought what we saw in the collapse of the lending protocols and what we saw in the collapse of, you know, these big projects, Terra Luna and, you know, the exchange with Voyager, I thought that was going to be the NFT and the meme sector. I thought that, you know, maybe one of these meme coins was going to go to zero. And I thought that maybe some of these big NFT projects like Bored Ape or something was gonna rug pull. And so surprised me. Yeah. And you know what? You're not gonna be able to, you know, if you fool the masses, that's when you're gonna get the most money in it. And the reason that Alex Mashinsky, the founder of Celsius, the reason he got Celsius as big as he was because he was a trustable guy. He was somebody that was relatable, somebody you could call a friend. He was soft-spoken. He seemed, you know, intelligent, had experience, and he knew what he was talking about, or at least seemed to at face value. And he had this thing. He's like, better than the banks. Don't trust the banks. Which, all the meanwhile, as he's saying this, he knows he's got a ticking time bomb. Maybe he didn't start off that way. You know, some people say that. I think the opposite. I think he knew what he was doing from the get-go. I think this dude knew what he was doing from the get-go. He's probably taken advantage of people all throughout his life. And then he looked at a tech sector, a finance sector that had just tremendous amount of growth. People just throwing money. He saw an opportunity, he took it. And he used his charm and charisma to gain people's trust. Then he just straight opened up the trap door at the bottom. So anyways, will we learn, will there be another big collapse in the next one? Hell yeah.
And Wall Street, I don't think in the
Hell
past
yeah.
50 years was no similar cases or
But Wall Street
oh,
was founded back in like 18 something, like 1860s.
years. Let's say, I'm sure there were scams back there. There
So you got to think how many companies failed and went
yeah.
under and scams and,
Exactly.
regulation evolved over the course of the financial system that we have now. And Bitcoin was just launched 13 years
It's a
ago.
baby.
Nobody was
It's a
using
baby.
it for the last, until the last like 6-7 years. And so it's like, we're still a baby, man. And as each cycle goes through, and we're always going to have cycles. The cycles are going to change and evolve and grow and be different. But Wall Street has cycles. Every 8 years, they go in a recession as on average. It's like 8 to 12 years. There's a recession.
May
Now,
1792.
1782. I was
There
wrong.
was in Wall Street, yeah.
So yeah, in the 1700s. So anyways, they had a lot of practice to iron out the scams.
Exactly.
And still, you had the Enron collapse, you had the housing collapse, the bailout of the big banks. I mean, so it's always going to be here. You're just going to get less and less of it, and eventually you just get the biggest players that'll collapse in the future. But just be careful, guys. Just be careful.
Somebody new in the chat.
You got somebody new? Oh, we got Carlos. Carlos, hola! Welcome. City Crypto. So, next up, big news out of my Portuguese-speaking compadres. I'm not from Brazil, but I'm from actual Portugal, but we share a language. We also share an interest in Bitcoin. Brazil is leading the way in South America when it comes to the adoption of Bitcoin, or at least because their economy is so large, by volume they are, which is going to be a little sneak peek into our next article. But as of right now, Brazil's largest payment app, PicPay, enables 65 million users to buy Bitcoin. So PicPay, think of like PayPal. But this is Brazil's like own app. So a lot of people there use PicPay. I'm not personally familiar with it, but I did a little bit of research, and it has 65 million users. But here, I'll just get into it, then I'll give you my thoughts. So Brazilian fintech app PicPay will launch an in-app cryptocurrency exchange, allowing its over 65 million users to trade Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies as its first crypto product offering. And then, in addition to launching an exchange, it's allowing its users to buy, sell, and hold Bitcoin. PicPay seeks to integrate payments with cryptocurrency into its economy. PicPay, and this is a quote, PicPay will enter the crypto market to lead its popularization not only as an investment, but a way to offer decentralized payments and other financial services. One last thing, they're also PicPay is gonna have educational materials in the app as well. So not just simply, in comparison to what like PayPal is doing. PayPal is letting you purchase goods, basically any retailers that offer PayPal services, you can go in and use your crypto. And so you have PicPay, which is like, okay, that's cool. We can do that too. But how about we just launch our own exchange? You know what? Why not? And you know what? If you have the right people in place, because we see what happens when you don't go about it the right way. But when you have the right people in place, people with experience, and you have a good roadmap, and you don't leverage debt in some weird, crazy way, you know what? It's probably a good idea if you're a giant infrastructure payment system. You're already gonna put a wallet in every single user's profile. So if I'm going to use PayPal for an example, if I'm going to have a wallet issued by PayPal and I'm going to onboard, Bitcoin on there as an example, and then go to checkout, like, doesn't it seem a little excessive to go and buy Bitcoin in an exchange and then transfer it over, put it into your PayPal wallet, then pay for it? It just seems a little redundant. And I do believe PayPal, you can load up. I think they use a third-party plugin on their website, so I think you can buy Bitcoin through the PayPal interface.
Yes, you can.
But it's really not an exchange.
It's not.
So what you have here is you have a Brazilian payment provider saying, you know what, we're going to give you the full suite of services. We're going to give you the exchange. We're going to let you buy, sell, hodl. We're going to give you your own wallet, and your native wallet in our platform you can use as a payment rail. And, you can use it as your personal wallet when you go to check out. For one, that's kind of big, man. If this grows to be something large and, if this business model becomes very successful, I wouldn't be surprised to see the likes of Visa or PayPal perhaps getting into this. I mean, we see Goldman Sachs with their Apple credit card. So not only did they get into the credit card services, but they're like, hey, you know what? Let's do investments. Let's do ETFs. And you know what? Let's do a credit card too. And the credit card, you can also use Apple Pay. So they really are hedging their bet when it comes to their financial suite of options. Same thing here in Brazil.
Why do you think PayPal didn't jump in yet?
PayPal is huge. They're
Exactly.
a publicly traded company, so they're doing things in steps. In the same way that PayPal first offered, I think it's 5 tokens. So PayPal, you can do Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash,
Yeah, there is something else. I don't remember.
like
Litecoin,
ETH class, Litecoin,
something like that.
And so, because they have so many different users and platforms, and I would just assume that they just want to integrate it slowly. I mean, it's not like there's a ton of competition and they're falling behind. And so they're already the leading, if not the leading payment platform in the world. Outside of your Visa, MasterCard, they're pretty damn close. And so I don't think that they're so concerned with, hey, we need to launch this thing, have an exchange, offer NFT services, let you, do, they're like, hey, ain't nobody in this market yet, realistically. And so let's offer Bitcoin. Let's start there. Throw a Litecoin in there too, and a couple other tokens, and then we'll roll this out. It hasn't even been a year. It's only been like 6 months. And so they're just getting this running. But what you see in Brazil, where, something's not quite as globally adopted, is that they have the opportunity to go all in right off the rip, because they're not taking on so much risk. They don't have publicly traded, board members and all this stuff. So also down in South America. So South America's got a lot of traction here in crypto. We hear a lot about South America all the time. So up next, Venezuela ranks 3rd among countries with most crypto adoption.
Yeah.
So when it comes to volume, Brazil is huge. They're a top 20 economy in the world. They have a massive population. And so, if you were to put the numbers head to head, Venezuela versus Brazil, Brazil's where it's at, as far as the South American countries. However, Venezuela, man, their money system is doo-doo.
That's it.
Inflation is out of control. And so if you are trying to just simply save money, I mean, you're losing 50% of your value every couple of years. I think the average is.
I think it's more than that.
And so, just imagine. I mean, what are you supposed to do? How are you supposed to put your kids in college? You probably don't have the means to getting a student loan. So if you can't get a student loan or qualify for one because you don't really have the infrastructure for education, loan payments down there, your only option would be to save. But if you were to save, say, $20,000, within 10 years, say you started saving for your kid, within 10 years, your $20,000 probably worth $1,000. And you need another $19,000 on top of that to put your kid in college. And so you see this endless and vicious cycle of where no matter how hard you work or no matter how diligent you are with your money is trash.
Yes, it is.
And so you're seeing the citizens are fed up with it. And at some point you're like, yo, what the hell? What can I do? What can I do? And you hear the whispers, you hear your friends, you see it on TV, you see it on the internet. You're like, crypto, Bitcoin, this is a solution. And you're seeing retail pop up in Venezuela that has ATMs that where you can physically put your cash in and it spits out, a receipt where you have your Bitcoin. And so they don't have the big exchanges down there like we do here in the States. But if you want Bitcoin, there's a lot of providers down there. There's a lot of like little shops that you can go buy your Bitcoin. And so Venezuela ranks, so back to the article here. So ranks third in countries with most adoption. So a report issued by the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development has found that Venezuela ranks third among countries with most cryptocurrency adoption, only behind Russia and Ukraine, which is interesting. I'm going to go deeper into that here in a moment as well. They found that 10.3 of the citizens in Venezuela held cryptocurrencies. Russia was second on the list with 11.9, and Ukraine first with 12.7. And then it also says that of the first 20 countries with the most adoption, 15 are qualified as developing countries under the United Nations. And so what does all of these countries have in common? What does these developing countries have in common? What does Ukraine have in common with being the number one? Is that there's economic uncertainty. And in times of war or geopolitical just mess that we're in now, you're finding citizens that are just having difficulties holding on to their cash. We're not even talking about investing. We're just talking about, like, if you're in Ukraine, what are you doing? Your banks are probably not operational. And if they are, can you easily go in and remove your money? And if you can, is your money there even holding its value? Can you leave the country and take the currency from Ukraine and use it elsewhere and trade, and trade for another currency? You might find difficulty doing so. But there is one asset that is impervious to inflation. It doesn't matter what currency you want to trade it for. Just about every currency except for a couple nations pretty much will take Bitcoin. And so if you're fleeing a war-torn country like Ukraine, you go somewhere else, what a better way to take your hard-earned money and your life savings, but in a digital form that lives on the internet that can't be confiscated, through a security checkpoint. And all you have to do is remember your seed phrase. You could literally leave butt naked. And if you just remember 12 words, you just recite the 12 words 1,050 times, and then you got them down. Like, the 12 words. Like, you could leave a country butt naked, get thrown in jail, come out, pop up 10 years later, and cash your money out. You could have no ID, no house, no clothes, you could even have a country, no country citizenship. We've seen countries go away and you're just like, well, where are you from? Be like, well, I'm from
planet Earth.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And so it's beautiful, man.
Yeah. And
then on top of that, if your family splits up and you're in Italy, you're a refugee, your mom's in Italy, your kids are in Finland or something, and you obviously ain't going to travel, you ain't got no cash for that. You can just easily send Bitcoin then, the Lightning Network in a second. But even if you don't want to use a Lightning Network, you can just send Bitcoin and boom, it's there. What, 5 minutes? 5 minutes for Bitcoin transfer, about something like that. And so, man, it just solves everything. And right now it's Bitcoin. But later on, I'm not a Bitcoin maxi. Right now it's Bitcoin. Later on, it's going to be other things. And so blockchain technology, it's the way of the future, man. I'm excited about it.
Especially in Venezuela.
And Venezuela, man, like, I don't know. You hear Michael Saylor talk about it all the time.
Yeah, my wife's family is from there.
Oh.
So we know exactly firsthand.
Yeah, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, you can send even, they don't have electricity for half of the day. They don't have water. They are not a war. We're talking about just a normal country that is trying to survive, that has been through so much hardship, and they have so much oil and resource they can build.
Let me ask you a question. If you had a kid, say you have an 8-year-old, and you're in Venezuela, and they're a smart ass kid, like straight A's, like wants to do good, like what are the options for them to get to college? Is there anything you can do?
Really not. You gotta move. You gotta live whatever the leader you ever be. Maybe you work all your life for something. You leave it behind, and you gotta move somewhere else. Like Colombia, it's not like you can go to Colombia. You really gotta cross to Colombia, which is also very dangerous because you gotta go through all the guerrilla and stuff like that. Unless you have a little more money, save it, which are worthless. Everything is in dollar. If you can grab some dollar, and if you work all your life and you put some money aside, and now you finally get your social security money, you go to the bank, and now you find out, we just had 3 more zeros, so we took it off, so that your $20,000 now is worth pretty much $200, which you can buy only maybe a chicken and a loaf of bread. That's absolutely crazy. That's sad. That's very sad. You can send money there. It's difficult. It's
if you keep putting people through this, people will find a way. People will get tired. And it has been throughout the course of human history, you see where no matter what, if there's a problem on this planet that becomes a problem for each generation to follow, at some point, one generation is going to break through. I mean, you can look at slavery here in the U.S. And, we had slavery, we got here in the U.S., I think it was the early 1700s. This the colonies 16 something, but essentially, we started in the 1700s. At least that's when we got our independence. And so we had slavery all the way up until the Emancipation Proclamation, which
anyway, North America, South America.
And then you still had segregation all the way up until I think it was the 50s. And so
50 years ago.
Yeah, and eventually people get fed up with it. They demand change. And you're gonna get it eventually. And so what is Venezuela gonna change to? They're not gonna go to the dollar. Yeah. I mean, I doubt it. So at some point, when you are out of options, you're going to change. And so could you see a country as big as Venezuela just go all in on crypto? I think it's a possibility. Also, going into nations and crypto, South Korea is ready to test its CBDC with commercial banks, but says launch is a long way off. And so South Korean Central Bank says it's now ready to commence a real-world testing for its prototype digital yuan, but is refusing to say whether or not it actually intends to roll out the token. So they're testing it. I don't know if they're going to use it. I think they will. I think every country is going to have one. But either way, before you roll something out, you got to test it regardless. 10 domestic commercial banks have already announced their intention to participate in the next stage of the central bank's digital currency pilot. The next multi-stage pilot, the bank says, will focus on remittance payments in the financial services environment. And so This is just another domino, man. It's one by one, man. You're seeing, was it the Swiss was transacting with Great Britain with CBDC. We see the Fed actively talking about CBDCs and the fact that they're going to start testing it as well. We have the digital yuan over in China, which was basically rolled out right before the Olympics. You have Jamaica has technically the first CBDC. And then there's just country after country. It's the future. And, you know, realistically, it makes sense. Whether or not you want it or not, I'm just saying. You know, if David was here, he'd be like, whoa. But I'm just saying, whether you want it or not, it's coming. So get ready. Because it only makes sense. Because in the current structure, yes, maybe paying, you know, money going from your bank, from your employer to your bank and then your credit card doesn't sound too complex. But in cross-border payments, the sending of money from one currency to another, you know, for banks to lend money to each other from one nation to another, it's a mess, and you have to go through all these different third parties. The process in which to send money overseas is so complex and outdated that any upgrade would make just so much sense. And the fact that, you know, the CBDC is just they fix all of it. You're taking the ledger that is cryptocurrency's blockchain, or the backbone to it, and you're just basically putting the nation's currency on there. And so instead of going through the central bank and, you know, the Fed and all of this and printing and then sending it to this, you know, Swift payment system and then having a ledger there where a third party verifies it and then sends a transaction and then they get back to the original sender and like, okay, it went through, and then they go and it takes 3 days and costs you $50. Like, those days are gone, man. Those days will be gone very soon because it's outdated and it's unnecessary.
Yeah, the Swiss system is outdated.
It
only
it's
transfer
terrible.
data. It doesn't even transfer money. So the data is transferred to the third party that verify your information. Now, if we talk about a small amount of money, is one thing.
You know, like I liken it to those. You know, the other day my car broke down. Oh, not the other day, a couple months ago. Car breaks down, so I went and got a took it to the shop and went and got a rental car. So, you know, me being cheap. I go to the first place and they're like, yeah, it's gonna be like $100 something a day. I'm like, so I go to the budget one over, you know, next door, and I go there and you know, way cheaper. You know, it was like $200 for like 4 days, 5 days, whatever it was. And they wanted to print out my receipt. And they had that printer with the holes on the sides. You know, the one with the page. The page just keeps folding on itself.
Yeah, I remember that. Wow.
And I just look at it. I'm like, man, that's some outdated software. Their computer was like a big square one. You know, the monitor wasn't even thin. You know, it was that big, bulky, like old Macintosh looking computer.
Now my question is, what kind of car did you get? Did you get the car with the wheel?
You know, the car was actually pretty nice.
Okay.
You know, it was a Toyota RAV4.
Okay, so you got a car.
Yeah, it was nice.
It wasn't
the
on a
car
horse.
was good.
The horse with the wheel.
They gave me a Ford Fiesta.
Ford Fiesta.
No, so
Fiesta is over.
yeah, I'm just looking and I'm just like, how do y'all operate? Like how? Like, you know, they're printing out the receipts like king. I'm like, what is going on over? And like, I'm at the counter and I'm like, literally, I'm like, I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm like looking over the counter. I'm like, is that one of those old typewriters? They're like, no, it's a printer.
Yeah, it's a printer. I updated 3 years ago.
Dude, man.
Yeah, that's the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, it's just funny when you see these outdated software and hardware in today's age. You know, hey, you know what? You could buy a pretty cheap printer on Amazon Prime Day. They got them for like $50.
It's one day car rental.
Budget rental car place. Go on Amazon today. Go buy a new printer, man. It's super cheap. Stop being so cheap, man.
But funny story about rental car. I went I rent a ticket to go to Miami,
Mm-hmm.
and I rent a car. And also what happened is I went, take the trolleys far away. You got to go outside the airport. And when you get there are all these booths with all the rental. The problem is my rental car wasn't those booths. You have to take another trolley. It goes in the middle of the Everglade. And then you rent your car if you don't get it by.
You want to talk about a
crocodile.
fun time renting a car? I went to Israel and rented a car. And so Israel, their infrastructure is like from BC. So these roads are cobblestone roads they built back in the 400, not even 1400. And so anyways, I go to pick out my car. You know when you can get a rental car?
This is a story time. Can we launch the story?
Let's
time?
go story time. Let's go. So I'm in the birthplace of modern day religion. I'm in Jerusalem. I need to rent a car, and so I'm there. And you know when you do the walk around, you ever rent a car? Like you return a car. You do the walk around, and so I'm sitting there. A guy has his little clipboard, and he has the little drawing of the car. It's like a piece of paper. And he's all like, all right, let's do a walk around. He's like, all right, so we got a scratch here. Circle.
One.
I got a dent here. He's like, oh, that's broken. He's like chipping the glass. He puts like a little lightning bolt on the windshield. He goes around. He's like a donut in the back. And then you know what I mean? He's like, oh, the trunk doesn't open. And I'm like, good Lord, bro.
That doesn't work. That it drives.
And
you gotta push it.
And the funny part is upon returning the vehicle, I go around and the guy's all like, well, that wasn't there before. I'm like, no, look here, man. I was like, and I got a video because the guy even told me he's like, hey man, I recommend getting a video.
Yeah, you gotta take a video.
And I'm like, all right. So I got a video of the walk around, and man, again, those streets are crazy, man. Yeah. And so in Israel, when you're driving out there, first of all, it's a lot of fun.
You gotta be aware.
Like, you ever been on a roller coaster and you're like, you're kind of scared, but you're in for a good time. And so, anyways, I'm there, and so the traffic just flows in one direction. You don't have options.
You don't stop.
There's no like right turn lane, left turn lane. It just goes in one direction. Just think of like a river, and then when you want to get out, you just hop out of the river. Like, that's how it is. Like, there's no sub streets and all this. It's just like, you go from the road to an alley or a driveway. And then the stoplights it just stops it completely, and that's it. There's no like right on red, none of that crap. And man, it is that was interesting. I remember this bus stopped in front of me. So I just
waiting.
I waited, and literally guys were walking up to my car window, and they were knocking on the window. Some guy walking down the street, he's like, you gotta go around. You gotta go around. You gotta go around. And I'm like, you're not even driving, sir. You're walking. And then everybody behind me is all like, hands out the window, like freaking out. They're like, the bus stopped. You have to go around. And around was oncoming traffic. And as I mentioned, don't nobody slow down, and everyone's full speed up in there, man. And I'm just like,
yeah, we're blocking the traffic.
Very interesting, man.
Yes, walk around.
All right. Lastly, we're gonna end on our favorite subject here, Celsius. So Celsius takes out $417 million worth of its staked Ethereum from Aave. And so they pulled out their staked Ethereum. And then here's a couple of things I've highlighted. So yesterday they pulled out 400,000 staked Ethereum. This was that straw that broke the camel's back. Remember, they couldn't exit because Three Arrows Capital had a bunch of staked ETH. As anyways, the price of staked Ethereum has rebounded or come more in line with the price of Ethereum, which is to be expected because the ETH merge is getting closer and closer. So as the ETH merge gets closer and closer, you know that holding staked Ethereum, when it trades 1-for-1 for regular Ethereum, is going to line up with the price of the other asset. And so, did they do this on purpose? That's my question. Could they have unstaked it earlier? Probably. I think they waited, and they did so to get more value out of their staked Ethereum. And I mean, you can see here the price is over $1,000 per Ethereum, and so 400, the 400,000 at $1,000 would be 400 million, and so they got it at $1,170. So look at the price of Ethereum right now. It's down from there. Mm-hmm. So did they time the market? Were they one of the catalysts for the reason why Ethereum is down more than the rest of the assets? I think so. You just cashed out a shit ton of ETH.
Yeah.
Bitcoin's down 4%. ETH is down 7%. I mean, look at this. Out of the top 11 currencies, because anything after 11 doesn't load, isn't there we go. They're the biggest loser until you get down to Cosmos.
Okay.
And so, are they the reason for the dump in the price of Ethereum? Perhaps. I think so. Also, of note. So here, this is all the recent activity when it comes to Celsius. So Celsius repaid a loan of $63.5 million in USDC to Aave across 3 transactions. This reduces Celsius's debt to Aave by $8.4 million. The latest move is the latest move follows the firm's recent withdrawal of 6,083 Bitcoin from Aave on Monday. Last week, it pulled $440 million in wrapped Bitcoin from MakerDAO. And currently, Celsius's largest DeFi position consists of a collateral deposit of 10,000 wrapped Bitcoin on Compound. So they've pulled all this money out, but they still have $200 million worth of Bitcoin on Compound. And it sounds like this is probably the last of their big positions out there. Now, they were earning interest in all of this. So this is how you got interest. So basically, they took your money and they staked it in the form of staked ETH on Aave. And there was several. So they repaid a $63 million loan, which they still owe $8.4 million. And then they withdraw 6,000 Bitcoin, which was worth over $100 million on Monday. And then it pulled $440 million worth of Bitcoin from MakerDAO on. Anyways, what are they going to do with all this money? Because if your wallet and your transaction is still frozen, I mean, let's be real here. Let's think about it. If you take your retail investor, all of the retail exposure when it came to Celsius, I am pretty damn sure that 200 million plus 440 million plus this 80 plus another 70 million. So you're sitting at $700 million.
Yeah.
And that's just what you guys, that doesn't count for cash on hand. You're probably sitting on, I'd say, $2 billion. And you couldn't pay back your investors, man. You couldn't pay back the retail guy, the person that really that is counting on this money.
If you pay back, you don't make the interest. You can make more money off.
Yeah,
that's why.
But what I'm saying is, like, now that this is all done.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, when you decided to close, when Celsius decided to go out of business and halt, technically they haven't filed for bankruptcy yet, but when they decided to stop transactions, stop withdrawals, when they did that, why didn't they look at their assets they have here? The same way that I just did, and I added it up. And they're like, hey, man, we got $3 billion. Let's pay back all of the users. Let's let them pull their money out. Let's say, hey, guys, you know what? We're going to go under. And, you know, this is the moral and the logical thing.
That's the way to do it.
This is how it should have been done.
Yes.
Let me pay back all of the users. Here's all of your money back. And then my major corporate debt, which will probably be in the form of 2 to 5 lenders, I'm not going to have enough money to pay you back. And so I'm going to file bankruptcy and default on that. And that would make sense. Like if I owed Rocco $1,000 and I owed David $1,000 and I was going to file for bankruptcy, I shouldn't keep both of your $1,000 and then file bankruptcy and then give that $2,000 to, you know, a credit card company. You know, why don't I just give you your money back, file bankruptcy? You know, you can make a case for like, you know, hey, well, you're going to pay one person back. You know, you're contracted to pay this person back. You're not contracted to pay back your users. So, you know, at the end of the day, it's a cutthroat business. And I understand why Celsius went the path that they did. But still ain't right.
No.
And, you know, if you're going to be all warm-hearted and say you're better than the banks, no, you're not. You did exactly what other banks do when they're about to go under. They screw the people that got them there, and then they pay back their buddies. And unfortunately, that's what Celsius is. And, you know, I see in the chats, I see David arguing with these people all the time. It's kind of funny. But a lot of people are still behind Celsius. And they use this as ammunition of their resurgence or their comeback. Like, hey, they didn't file Chapter 11 bankruptcy. They're not defaulting on their debt. They halted transaction withdrawals because they didn't have enough money to pay everybody out.
They didn't pay anybody yet.
Yeah, they didn't pay any people, but they paid back their loans so they can uncollateralize their.
I say anybody, I feel like people like me and you.
But people truly believe. There's a large community of people that genuinely believe that these are all actions being taken by Celsius to get back on track. Far from the truth, ladies and gentlemen.
I won't get close to.
Far from the truth.
No, absolutely not.
But anyways.
We'll see what's going to happen. Let's see.
Well, that's going to be it. I'm not doing any market analysis today or NFT stuff since I'm rolling solo.
Solo.
You
Get
know?
some company.
Yeah.
Get me, man.
Oh, yeah, I do got Rocco.
Yeah. I can scream like Dave. Hey, oh. Little bit. I don't know.
But it doesn't fulfill me when I make fun of you, Rocco.
I know. You just told me that I'm a bad driver. Well, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta practice a little more my drift.
But yeah, when David gets back in here, you know,
yeah,
get back to making fun of him.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna wrap it up here. So we're gonna say farewell to everybody. So go ahead and roll that outro. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and Rocco today. You know, we didn't get to quite 60 viewers in the chat. Would like to open up the club one of these days, but the time is coming. New all-time highs in Bitcoin is coming. New all-time highs in our chat is coming. And what a better place to be at in crypto and in this YouTube channel and with our friends and family. Either way, y'all have a great day. Enjoy your Amazon Prime Day. Buy something cool. And tomorrow, put in the chat. What did you buy on Amazon Prime Day? I want to know. I'm getting off right now. I'm gonna go buy some stuff.
Me too. I'm curious now. I don't know.
I'll buy a new label maker.
A label maker.
Our label maker sucks, man. Show them the label maker, Rocco. Oh, this thing is trash. I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna literally, hopefully, Dynamo comes out and bashes me.
You know, it looks just like the printer we were talking about.
Yeah,
the dot.
All of these labels peel off, man. They don't stick. Terrible. Anyways, if y'all know a good label maker brand, let me know as well. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Till next time.
Peace. See you guys. Bye-bye.
late. Tryna kiss off, I'm in your place. Man, this shit so crazy. Never thought I'd be doing shit like this again. Put that effort in, girl, then I repay you. Crash that thing out the park, now I feel like Babe Ruth, baby. This shit I can't do, baby. No, I can't move, baby. Nothing I can't prove, baby. I got 16 missed calls on my phone. Times change, Mickey D's turn into Rabuchon. Kick my feet up, drink leader, smoke on a new strong. Couple margaritas, senoritas, I goof off. I got 16 missed calls on my phone. Times change, Mickey D's turn into Rabuchon. Kick my feet up, drink leader, smoke on a new strong. Couple margaritas, senoritas, I goof off. Question marks along your brain, wonder if you should try again. Look at me inside your braces. Can't focus when we face to face. Plenty things I could go say. Name a place I go and pay it. Said she want no boo. Been around the world, plenty things I can show you. Taking flights to GA for our soul food. Gotta pay 1K for GA at my shows too. Keep it 1K with my fans even at my lows. Ooh. That's why I'm back. Show your man the things I've showed you. Tell your man how I used to hold you, but I won't hold you. Your new man is lame and all I spoke is true. Light one smoke for you. That sadness comes with coping too. This madness come with shit that's overdue. You strong with yourself, nobody else holding you, but I ain't holding you. You the one I need when I'm off that perk or two. Hit that thing early, got you sleep like curve for you. All these lame ass bitches I curve for you. All these packs and pearls I burnt with you. It's up now, baby, it's stuck. They can look, but they cannot. They gon' hate, so I keep that tuck. All this ice on me like pucks. I work hard, don't need no luck. Only thing I need is my Glock. When there's bread, these birds gon' flock. When they dead, I let them rot. I ain't tryna leave you up, I said stop waiting. And I don't got time for these pussy fuckers playing. You gotta read between the lines that I am saying. Ain't got no time for no more bullshit conversations, cause I got 16 missed calls on my phone. Times change, Mickey D's turn into Rabuchon. Kick my feet up, drink leader, smoke on a new strong. Couple margaritas, senoritas, I goof off. I got 16 missed calls on my phone. Times change, Mickey D's turn into Rabuchon. Kick my feet up, drink leader, smoke on a new strong. Couple margaritas, senoritas, I goof off. Yeah. Ooh, it's running right on the wall. I got 16 missed calls on my phone. Times change, Mickey D's turn into Rabuchon. Kick my feet up, drink leader, smoke on a new strong. Couple margaritas, senoritas, I goof off. I got 16 missed calls on my phone. Times change, Mickey D's turn into Rabuchon. Kick my feet up, drink leader, smoke on a new strong. Couple margaritas, senoritas, I goof off. Smoking on the island, say she wanna ride with me. Took her on a flight, said all her bags from Italy. I sent her with a friend, they shopping there religiously. Whoa, whoa, yeah. You say she love me, but that's when she rockin' Prada bag. Said she ready for the next step, whoa, not so fast. Slow down, slow down, slow down, girl, don't you crash. Whoa, whoa, yeah. Cause we can mess up that pretty face, but we can fuck up that pretty lady. Tryna kiss off, I'm in your place. Man, this shit so crazy. Never thought I'd be doing shit like this again. Put that effort in, girl, then I repay you. Crash that thing out the park, now I feel like Babe Ruth, baby. This shit I